Welcome to Build Your Maverick Business, the podcast for underdog, outlier, and renegade entrepreneurs. Brought to you by Strange Creative Studio. If you dream of going off on your own and launching your rebel empire, but don't know where to start, you're in the right place. We'll teach you how to use mindset, branding, and practical advice to build a killer business and transform your world. And now, here's your host, founder of Strange, Alex Pitt.
Hello everyone, how are we? I'm not okay. Oh no, I'm being dramatic. I'm having one of those days where I am painfully aware that I am not 21 anymore. And I'll tell you what happened. I woke up this morning, keen bean, all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to record 2 podcast episodes today because I'm away for a couple of weeks. And I thought I'd be sensible. And instead of having a second cup of coffee, I thought, no, I'm going to be good. I'm going to hydrate. And so made myself a cup of peppermint tea, which it turns out gives me really bad heartburn. So I just had the worst heartburn that I've had in years and had to go and sit on the sofa for a bit to recover. So I'm really late doing this. And honestly, I remember the days where I used to go out with my pals. I'd finish my shift at Sainsbury's at 8 p.m, go out with my pals to the pub, end up at some rando's house where we'd all sleep on the floor, wake up just in time to get dressed and go to my next shift at 7 a.m. And I used to do that fairly regularly. And now a fucking cup of herbal tea is taking me out after an 8-hour sleep. So here we are. This is 30. This is 32. And I bet I have a lot of listeners who are much older than 32 who are thinking, oh, Alex, my sweet summer child, you just fucking wait for what's to come. And yeah, I'm just not going to think about it, everyone. I'm just not going to think about it. So there we go. That's my sad introduction for the week. So quick bit of housekeeping. Thank you so much to everyone who's already signed up for the webinar that I mentioned last week. I think the last time I checked, I had 25 people coming, which is really nerve-wracking because it means that now that's something that I definitely have to do. That's real. That's in people's diaries. And I have to get over my fear of exposure and performance anxiety. And I actually have to show up and talk for an hour. And yeah, on that note, my stomach is now in my throat because fuck, that's really scary. But anyway, feel the fear and do it anyway. It's going to be fine. So yeah, leave that with me. It is going to be fantastic. I am looking forward to it. I just, get a little bit scared, get a bit of imposter syndrome, but that's okay. That's what we're here to work through together, guys. Right, so podcast this week. Now, before I went off on my own, when I was working full time, being not but a lowly designer, I didn't really get sent out into the field very much. I used to pretty much be kept chained to my desk. So I had a vague idea of what networking was before I started a business. I'd done my fair share of networking over the years. I have attended a few BNI meetings. If you've not heard of BNI, it stands for Business Networking International, I want to say. A very corporate setup where you pay lots of money to join. I mean, thousands to join. And they meet once a week, so you get up at about 5 o'clock in the morning and head to a hotel and stand up in front of a room full of people, like 30 to 40 people, introduce yourself and tell everyone what you've been up to. You also get a fry-up. Now, I'm not going to say that I go for the fry-ups, but I have been a guest to a few meetings. And my God, do I love a nice Holiday Inn fry-up. Bloody glorious. I'm not even being sarcastic. I love sausages. So that's kind of like the corporate breakfast setup. Then there's the networking events where you get a name badge, you rock up in a room full of people and you drink free wine all night. This one has caught me out before because I'm allergic to free bars, or at least that's how it feels the next day. But yeah, in that scenario, a lot of the time, I'm just going to skip over that one. A lot of the time, you'll have a panel discussion. There'll be people who share their insights. It's very interesting for the most part if you pick the right ones. And then afterwards, everyone goes around with their business cards and shares, get to know each other, blah, 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 blah. Everyone gets to know each other, da, 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 da. So yeah, my understanding of networking is always quite traditional. You show up to a location with business cards, you hope to meet somebody who wants to buy something from you, and that definition is not what I'm talking about today. That is not what I am saying is essential to you today. Now, the types of networks that I believe to be essential in capitals, the ones that I highly recommend are paid communities where you can speak to people like you who understand what you're going through and who can support you and you can support, right? So this is not about going out and trying to find groups of people who are going to want to buy from you. This is about creating an environment around you of supportive people. And that goes both ways. You are supporting others and others are supporting you. You create this lovely environment where everyone's looking out for each other. And if you're having a shit day, you can just show up and say, this is going on, and people will flood to try and help you out. Even if that just looks like listening to you rant, even if they're not going to give you solutions, they're just going to give you an emotional support network. That is so essential, so essential. Now, I'm in 4 paid networks, some of which I love more than others, and I've been in and out of a few over the years. So I have some advice for you for how to smash this whole networking thing. Plus, some of the benefits if this isn't something that you tried before. If you're a raving introvert and you don't think that this is for you, hear me out. So a couple of years ago, when Strange was not but a seedling of a company, when I was first starting out, I tried out an app which is the sister company of a popular dating app. If you know which one I mean, then you know. So how this works is you open up your phone and you see all these profiles like you would with a dating app, and you can swipe through profiles of people who you can decide whether or not you want to connect with. So it might be that you're in a similar industry, or that you do a similar role, or you just think they look cool and you want to have a nice chat with them, or you share some common interests. And you can swipe yes or no and say whether or not you want to speak to these people. Now, I went onto this app all those years ago thinking in the old traditional sense that hopefully someone on there would want some branding and design done. And they think, oh yes, Alex at Strange, wonderful. Take some of my money in exchange for services. How naive I was back in the day. Now, I think I lasted about 2 weeks on this app because, for the most part, it was an absolute cesspit of society. It was awful. I only ever matched with people who were either A, trying to sell me cryptocurrency, or B, dirty old men who thought that they could just use it as a dating app with the pretense of wanting to hear more about your business, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Ugh, so fucking gross. But there is a silver lining to this story, my darlings. There is a silver lining because I did find one woman who I thought seemed wonderful. She was a co-founder of a startup that were building a community as part of their business. So very on point for today. We got chatting, her and I had some lovely conversations, and she asked if I wanted to have a virtual coffee chat. And I thought, that sounds nice. I've met some absolute cretins on this app so far, so it would be nice to have a conversation with a real person who seems to actually just want to know more about my business. No wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So it turned out that this woman was absolutely fucking phenomenal. We had so much in common. We bonded over coffee and how much we love coffee, and only the good shit, none of this high street chain. I know we like the independent places. We found that we had similar senses of humour, we had a similar attitude to work, and there were so many things that we wanted to keep chatting about. It was a lovely, lovely conversation. Now, fast forward to today, I am now an active member of her community that she is the co-founder of. I collaborate with her, we do a masterclass together in branding, and I consult for the business. I am a consultant on behalf of this company. I've actually also won a lot of work through this community and through this woman. Her name is Fiona, by the way. She is a wonderful, wonderful person to know. And the company is called the Portfolio Collective. I love to give them a little shout out because they're a wonderful, wonderful community. So yeah, I've done collaborations with Fiona. She has recommended me to loads of people. I recommend her business to loads of people. Win, 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 win. We also get to go out for lovely lunches. And off the back of that horrible, horrible 2 weeks in that shitty app, I've actually made a wonderful connection and found a community of people that I really value. Now, I didn't go into that trying to sell anything. While that was what I had been doing on that app, the best thing that I took away from that was just finding someone who I thought sounded great, someone who I wanted to have a conversation with, and who I wanted to form a genuine connection with. And that's what happened, right? We formed a genuine connection, and a lot of wonderful things have come off the back of that. Now, last week, I was on a networking call in a different network. There is a network that I am an active member of called Real Work. And every week we have a 9:30 check-in call where everyone just chats and talks about how they're getting on. And you don't have to, it's not this like super official corporate setup where you have to stand up and introduce yourself. It's just like, how are you feeling? How's it going? I've rocked up before and said, I've just gotten back from a wedding in Ireland and I'm a bit hungover. And that's fine, Everyone is different and everyone shares something different, whether it's a win or a frustration or just a bit of comedy. Like, it's just a wonderful, caring place to be where everyone's supporting each other and everyone's offering advice. This call in particular was what inspired me to do this episode. Because at one point, a lovely regular listener of this podcast, Julie, hello Julie, I know that you're listening because you absolute dreamboat, you do listen and you tell me that you listen. So shout out to you this week, my love. But Julie was getting so much praise from the community for the amazing work that she does. And everyone was helping her kind of frame her value proposition and really just giving her the recognition that she deserved for the great work that she was doing. Now, no one in this scenario is trying to sell to each other. No one is walking up with a name tag and a business card trying to say, hey, buy from me, buy from me. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place to be, to feel like you're seen and feel like you're part of something. We laugh, we cry, we drink coffee, we have a lovely time. In fact, I remember one of the first times that I really made use of this network is just after 2020, I had to pay thousands of pounds in tax. And it was the last of my money because as a struggling freelancer, when the pandemic hit, all of my work dried up. I was miserable and I was struggling to pay rent. Everyone had just been laid off. So suddenly there were like 10 million more designers flooded into the industry than were there before. And it was really tough. And there was also no financial support for the self-employed if you are set up as self-employed as I am in the UK. So I had no help, no support whatsoever. I'd had most of the year with nobody around me to talk to. And I had to go and pay thousands of pounds to Your Majesty for the privilege of having no help. And while I have now made my peace that tax is something that, is a good thing to be able to do, it supports hospitals, it supports the NHS, it supports schools, it supports all of these things that we need in the community. And that's the best way to think about it. Don't think about it going into fucking Boris's pocket. No. Don't think about the royal family. It's going to the NHS. But I was quite miserable. Like, I had to pay this in January. It's a fucking miserable month anyway. It was pissing it down with rain outside. And I went in to this network and said, guys, I'm really fucking sad today because this has happened. Now, I was flooded with messages of support of just these wonderful women in this one particular group who were all saying, that fucking sucks. I am so sorry for you. Like, I am so sorry that this has happened to you. And that's it. Like, nobody was trying to solve any problems for me. No one was being patronising. No one was saying, oh, well, it could be worse. No, everyone just said that fucking sucks. And I'm really sorry. Now, running a business can be very isolating. You don't have the chats by the water cooler. You don't get to wander off for lunch together and come back a little bit too late, There's no after work drinks. There's no people to bitch about your boss to. So building a network of wonderful, like-minded people around you, it's like replicating that feeling of having a crew of work besties. They can help you solve problems, they can pick you up when you're feeling like shit, and you can learn from each other. Now, if work comes off the back of that, then wonderful. But it will be coming from people who know, like, and trust you because you've gotten to know them. You're not being icky, you're not going in with a hard sell. It's just a Brucey bonus of what is essentially the best part of networking, which is that group of besties that can pick you up when you're having a shit day. Now, I talk a lot about mindset on this podcast, and building a network might just be the thing that keeps you afloat when times are really tough. Like they say, no man is an island, and certainly no maverick entrepreneur. All right, my loves, you go out and find your crew of work besties. They are out there waiting for you. I'm going to go off and pop a couple more, I'll leave you with that little nugget, my darlings. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will catch you all here next time.
Got an idea for a maverick business of your own? Learn how to build a powerful brand that will get people obsessed with our online program, not just a pretty logo. You'll learn a simple step-by-step framework that will kickstart your killer brand and help you find your raving fan base. Find out more today at strangecreativestudio.com.